Hey, small groups, welcome to week 4 of All Rise. I hope this series on honor has been challenging to you and encouraging to you, and also just kind of motivating for what could our community look like, our culture look like, our businesses, our families, marriages, all that look different if we really learn to practice biblical honor and what that looks like. Just a heads up for what's coming in the weeks ahead. Month of February, we're going to be launching into a series called Family 30. And really that is 30 days to a stronger, healthier, better family. And so I'm excited about that series. It'll be a fun one to have good conversation about how do we just do this thing called family in a better way. So just kind of wet your whistle and start thinking about that. That's coming in February. But let's dive into this final week that we had as far as, or this final week of All Rise. I started by talking about this kind of encounter that I had at the airport in Costa Rica. We were going through immigration when I went with a missions trip down there last November. And what was crazy, man, this crazy incident broke out like right in front of us. You know how the lines wrap back and forth. Well, all of a sudden, this guy wearing a Trump hat comes face to face with a guy who was clearly not pro-Trump. And these two guys start yelling at each other. I mean, I'm telling you, it was such a spectacle. They're yelling, they are swearing at each other, and then the lines are moving, you know how it works. And so they're getting further away from each other and continuing to yell at each other, and then they get close to each other, and then they get louder the closer they get. And it was just an embarrassment, quite frankly. I thought for our nation, it was an embarrassment as we're walking into or kind of entering into Costa Rica. And I think we could all agree that no one was winning in that moment. Like Republicans weren't winning, Democrats weren't winning, America wasn't winning in that moment. I think we could all agree actually that evil was probably winning in that moment. And it really leads into what I think honor is so important because our big idea of the week was simply this, that honor actually overcomes evil. If we don't want evil to win, there's this bizarre reality of the principles of God and how sometimes God's principles actually, when we live them out, man, we have the ability to overcome the enemy. And I started actually kind of at the end of a passage and then worked my way back to the front. But in Romans chapter 12, verse 21, this is what it says. Don't be overcome by evil, but listen to this, overcome evil with good. And the Greek word that gets translated as overcome literally can be translated as to win or to win in a victory. So if you want to win, if we want to see evil be beaten, we can actually do that. We can participate with God in doing that through this thing called honor, because at the beginning of the passage, he talks about how love and honor are these necessary components, and then he unpacks those a little bit and ends with this final statement of overcome evil now with good. But I don't know about you, but I want to win. I'm very competitive. I like to win, and I want to see God win over evil that's so prevalent in our world. In verse 9, I started here, love must be sincere, hate what is evil, cling to what is good, be devoted to one another in love, and honor, listen to this, honor one another above yourselves. And then he's going to unpack what does love, what does honor look like through the passage, and he ends with, and overcome evil with good, with these attributes that have been just unpacked. One of the biggest things that honor carries, though, that I landed on for quite some time in the message this weekend is found in verses 16 through 18, where he really talks, I captured it this way, as being a person of peace. Verses 16 through 18 says this, live in harmony with one another. Don't be proud, be willing to associate with people of low position, don't be conceited, do not repay, listen to this, evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And one of the biggest things that honor carries is the ability to be a person of peace, even in the midst of conflict or when evil is coming against you. And I think this is one of the biggest sticking points for just us in general. That we wrestle through. It's people's need for justice, fairness, and a penalty for wrong. So this is by far the number one response that I hear, not only in my house as a parent, but also in ministry. And I kind of went through the same list this weekend. It's this type of response. I did this bad thing to them, or I can't be kind to them because of the bad thing they did to me. And it might sound this way with my family, with my kids. Why'd you hit your brother? Well, because he hit me. Why did you take that toy from them? Because they took this from me. Why are you being mean to them? Well, because they're mean to me. Why are you gossiping about them? Well, did you hear what he said about me? Why are you not forgiving them? Well, because did you know what they did to me? Why are you not responding, or why are you responding with anger? Well, because of what they did to me. Why are you punishing them with a silent treatment? Because of what they did to me. And it's always because of what someone did to me. And ultimately, it's returning evil for evil. They did something wrong to me, and there's got to be this sense of penalty, a justice in some ways. But the justice that we return to people is its own form of evil. It's its own wrong. And so here in your small groups, even ask this question and discuss this. Why is returning evil for evil so difficult? And why is it so difficult to overcome? Is there anyone who's currently, or who you are currently penalizing in a relationship, maybe with the silent treatment or just steering clear of them? That quite frankly, if you're honest, yeah, I think I'm returning evil for evil. But a person of peace is actually going to bring love and honor and peace to the person who doesn't deserve it. And the power of this, of the person of peace, the person carrying honor, actually has the power to change atmospheres because it overcomes evil. It's just a crazy reality that being this person of peace, this person of honor, actually will overcome evil. I learned it from my mentor in youth ministry. He was a 70-year-old guy, and I remember there was often places of conflict with youth ministry, especially in the area where we were located. A lot of kind of rough kids, and they would come on in, they would be fighting. And I watched him practice this very simple Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, it says this: "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." I think almost all of us could say, I've seen a harsh word stir up anger. But listen to this once again: a gentle answer turns away wrath. And I would watch him when tensions were rising and kids were fighting. He would lean in and he would actually lower his voice and he would start to whisper. And kids would lean in to hear what he had to say. And all of a sudden he would kind of diffuse the anger in the air and the evil that was actually prevalent in that moment. And what I would see is I would watch good overcome evil right in front of me. And I've gotten to practice that so many times over when I can feel someone coming against me with anger or frustration and just responding with being a person of peace with a gentle word. It diffuses that and it actually overcomes the anger that's in the air, the disrespect, and that type of thing. And so for you and your small groups, let's just get practical. Let's talk a little bit about it. Is there a place where you would love to see change come, maybe to become a place of peace? Maybe it's at your workplace or in your home, or maybe even your home of origin. Maybe it's at the gym or where you do a hobby, that type of thing. Answer this question: why is there tension there right now? And how can you bring love, honor, and peace into that place? Because honor overcomes evil. And I think we can change atmospheres by practicing biblical honor, because honor overcomes evil. So enjoy your conversations. Let's get practical about it, and let's win in this area. So have a great conversation. See you guys next week.